South East Radio's Morning Mix.
He's been talked about that much in recent weeks here in South East Radio. He may have thought he's been beatified while he's still alive. He is, of course, Wally O Neill, who joins me from Red Books in studio. It's lovely to talk to you, Wally. I was going to call you Red there for a second ago. Good morning to you.
Thanks very much, Alan. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, your premises has been described as kind of a little treasure trove where people come in, rock up, launch a book, sing a song, have a cup of tea. It's very much like what we were speaking to Sean Moynihan about earlier, kind of a drop-in centre more than a bookstore. Is that the way it is, Wally?
Yeah, well, I think that's what a bookshop should be, you know, and we're very lucky that we have all these people coming in. It'd be the worst if it was the other way. And it is, we've built a community up there, and you know, they're great people, and I think people are drawn to bookshops still. Thankfully, we have a lot of young people coming in. We actually have a great group that meets every Saturday up there called the Wexford Youth Literary Society, that's made up of students from the different secondary schools in the town. They set it up themselves. They just asked us could they use the space, and they're brilliant young people. And it will give you a lot of confidence in the future, because sometimes you look at the news, you can find everything is very negative at the moment. There's a lot of despair in the world. But when you see this, and when you see the amount of people expressing themselves freely in Wexford, whether it's writing books or performing in theatre or songwriting, and it's just good.
And I was just saying to you, I met you many years ago. You were actually PR for Sinn Féin, and I just said to me, have you now completely blocked off? I'm not saying blocked off, but moved away from the whole political landscape?
Yeah. No, I think there's we've plenty of friends in different political parties that would come into the shop, you know, and they've helped us out in the past with many different things.
You just wanted to change the direction, did you?
Absolutely, and I think I found that in the bookshop, you know, and I think there is, you can almost, well, I feel I can make a better effect in the world by just having the bookshop opened. We set up Red Books Press in 2020, and last Friday night we released our 40th book. It's more of a cooperative than a publishing house, but we will work with anyone to try and allow them to express themselves, to get their book out there, and that's important, I think, you know. Of course, freedom of expression is very important.
And just at the moment you're talking about mainly St. Peter's Square in Wexford, but you also have an input into Gorey. So is the Wally message going to travel? Yeah, where's Wally? They're going to say he's everywhere in County Wexford, but are you going to bring it elsewhere?
Well, we've opened a shop in Rafter Street in Gorey now, and it's smaller than the Wexford Town operation, but it's great. And we had a book launch there the other night. Anne Orton launched her book, and it was packed out onto the street. And of course, when we talk about the talent of writers, which we're trying to highlight at WEXMAS next Saturday in the bookshop in Wexford, we often get accused of only mentioning Wexford Town, but this publishing phenomenon, this writing phenomenon in Wexford is right across the county, and it's not replicated everywhere else. You know yourself, Alan, I think we're publishing more books per population than any other county in Ireland at this time.
And some fabulous writers coming through.
Fantastic stuff.
And be very, very careful, because you've got two of those fabulous writers beside you, one on your left and one on your right. Would you like to introduce both of them for me, please, Wally?
Yeah, well, we have Mary Beary on my left here, who needs very little introduction. She's a great poet, and I think she's soon to be in the drama world as well. I know she's working on a project. And on my right we have Mick Carty, who I've known most of my life, and Mick is a local character, an instrumental person in local sports, who helped found Fastnet Rovers, helped set up the South Wexford Skittles League, and he recently brought out a memoir, a sports memoir, the first.
And I have it here in front of me,
But it's more than just a sports memoir. It's a social history of South Wexford over the last 40 years.
All right. Before I come to Mick, Mary, you were listening intently to my last guest, who we called Mary for today, and you'd like to lend your support to her as well, because you've been through a tough time yourself, haven't you?
I would, yeah. First of all, I'd just like to say, Mary, what a brave, brave mother you are, and also to your son, what a wonderful, brave young man he is, to highlight his mental health problems. And I understand when you were saying you went to get help from certain people, and that's really the way it is, Mary. It's so bad. Our mental health system is really, it's disgraceful. There are so many people suffering in our town and in our country with mental health, and this is a young man who has a job. who has many friends, and I understand he wants to remain anonymous because I think, you know, some people would target him and they would speak about him, you know, in not such a good way because he has mental health issues. You know, there still is that taboo there, and I truly hope, Mary, that your son will get the help that he needs, and also yourself, Mary. I mean, if there's anything that I can do to help you, Mary, you can just contact me. If it's just to sit down, have a chat, have a cup of tea, talk to me, I will give you a nice big hug, and if I can do anything to help you get your son into Cairn House, I really will do it. And I just think you are just wonderful, Mary, and I wish you all the best, both of you.
Now let's get on to what you're up to as a writer, and thank you for sharing that thoughts, that comment from Mary there, which I know she will find very comforting this morning. But you had charted your own journey and the journey with your own son. Have you now moved on to writing new material, Mary?
I have, Alan, yeah, and may I say that I'm doing great things with my book at the moment. I've been on the Two Norries podcast. I did a podcast with Nicky Murphy and Adrian there during the week. I'm hoping to get into maybe soccer clubs, GA clubs to speak, you know, about addiction and my own story. So I'm still sort of going down that line with my book. And schools, I'm waiting to get into schools, which I wish they would just really hurry up to have me in to speak with Father Billy Swan. I'm still writing poetry on other, other things as well, not just addiction and mental
health. What about the play that Wally mentioned?
Yeah, I'm presently working with Paul Hughes, who is a great man. I would not have known Paul before, and he's actually helping me to write one part of my story that I would have went through with my son.
Okay.
So hopefully next year this will be out. And people will be able to go and see it. So I'm really excited about that. And thanks so much to Paul for guiding me.
So you have a plan?
I do. I have a plan going forward. Thank you, Alan.
Meanwhile, sportsman Mick has a picture of Jim the Dentist Doyle throwing Skittles in the front of his book. Come into that microphone a bit closer there, Mick. This is what I love about this book is it brings us back to our own playing days. You mentioned clubs and that I would have kicked as a footballer with Park Hospital all those years ago. Yes. I love the local aspect of this. So now, sell the book. Go ahead with yourself.
First of all, to be straight up, I suppose there is people locally anyway in shock and disbelief that I done this book. To be straight up, I kind of even shocked myself that I went and done it. Basically, it's to do with, over the years we've been involved in GA, and soccer and playing skittles and playing pole. I have played one or two other sports in a small way as well, or athletics as well. I've done a bit of athletics when I was a child as well, and basically it just shows that I always like the challenge of being involved as managing teams, and when things weren't working out in one club, I was always prepared to go to another club to show that I'm able to do it.
You just showed me this book here a second ago, and you have Den Haag in it. And what is all this about?
Oh yes, in 1999, I went to
not Den Haag, no, but
Den Haag in Holland. I went a few months abroad to work over there, and I met obviously a lot of Irish people there, and played a bit of soccer and played GA with Den Haag in a tournament there, which was around the time that the association were over there as well, trying to get the European board on board, like, you know.
Okay, your exploits over 40 years, so bearing in mind that Siobhan is very much a proud St. Anne's woman, talk to me about St. Anne's GA Club and also Facet Rovers there, you're involved with them.
St. Anne's, as I said, I started playing 1978 on the 12s with St. Anne's, all the way up to minor, junior B, junior A, senior, intermediate. I played a bit of senior. I played right through with St. Anne's. Facet Rovers came on board in 1980. It was founded in 1988. And it's in the book how it was founded. It was a little bit controversial, but it all worked out for the club.
Yeah.
I played Division 3, 2, 1 and Premier Soccer. Now I would be straight up and say I wasn't a very good soccer player. That maybe I'm putting myself down a bit, but I did play in all those divisions, and I think I actually end up being a better manager than a player, especially in soccer anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the book is really like a journey that any footballer, hurler, or soccer player, rugby player would read. Like, you talk about your 3 worst moments playing football with St. Anne's. I don't have time for the 3 of them. What was one of them?
Well, yeah, I have to say, as a district semi-final, I think it was a league semi-final, and only the bare 15 players turn up. Now, I mightn't have been playing well couple of weeks before, prior to that or something, but there were only the bare 15 players anyway. But at the start of me wing forward, they were waiting on some player to come in, but he didn't come in. He was late or something. So they started the 15 of us, and I played wing forward, and I kicked 2 wides within the first 20 minutes. And
you were taken off?
I was taken off at 20 minutes. So, he was late.
I can beat that. I was playing soccer for Norwich Rangers many years ago, and he was taken off after 5.
Right. So, look, strange things have happened in the past, all right, no question about it. Yeah. I don't think those things will happen these days.
What do you hope to achieve most from the book, Mick?
It's just to get out there, what I've done. It's kind of history of what I've done.
Yeah.
And look, I'm probably not completely finished yet with sport. I'm not finished with sport yet, but I didn't realise how much different things I've done with different clubs, and the highs and lows. And of course, there is always, I had highs, but there are always lows, and that's part of sport. And it's how you bounce back when things are not going your way. And I enjoy being involved in local sport, and I enjoy the different challenges, you know.
But it's just like what we heard earlier. Everyone has a play or a book or a poem in them, and isn't that the message, Wally? Because we're going to move on to songs to round off the show now. So isn't that the message?
I think so.
You'd like to give people the opportunity, if they have that spark, turn it into a flame.
I think it's very, very important to allow that expression out there, you know. And it's great. Like, just your previous caller. Just, I think writing and books have been proven, not for everyone, but I think universally almost proven to help as mindfulness process, you know, and that's why we're so
it takes you into a different area,
these
doesn't
local
it?
authors. Yeah, and we've been very successful with local authors. We have our WEXMAS event on Saturday from 12 to 4 where we highlight, it's an annual event where we highlight local authors.
And that's in Red Books in St. Peter's.
It's in Red Books, and I mean, we have local historians like Liam Ryan and Des Keeley. We'll have young up-and-coming writers like Alana Hamill and Luke O'Connell, who's a great fantasy writer. And then we have people like John Cooney, a poet who's working away in Wexford, and he recently won the Francis Ledwidge National Poetry Award, the second Wexford poet in 2 years. You know, it's incredible the amount of talent that's going on in Wexford at the moment. So it's great to see. And I just want to say, Alan, I met a young man the other day who's launching a book on Wednesday in the Arts Centre, and he's Dermot Aspel, called This Life. And just that man told me that he was working on it since 2020, and he was all smiles, just such a happy guy to get that out there. And you know, we're just a second-hand bookshop off the main street, but if anybody feels that they want to write a book or they need help with it, we'll do anything we can to help them, because it is a very important thing to bring books into the world.
I have to leave it. I've got to talk music with Aileen Lambert to round off the show, but to Mary, to you, Mick, and to you, Wally, thank you for joining the studio. You want to finish with a little poem, do you?
I do. I just wrote a small, short poem, about Wally's Red Books. Come in to our lovely store, and Aladdin's Cave, and so much more. Books of war and peace and love, books of hell and God above. There's poets and writers and singers galore. You can knit or just draw, or maybe it's chess. It's a great place to come to relieve all your stress. So the next time you're passing Red Books in the square, come in and meet Nuala, as she'll always be there. A warm welcome awaits you as you open the door. You will feel right at home in this unique little store. So for all of you readers, both young and old, please come in and see us and let the stories be told. For the thousands of books and the friends that you'll meet, Red Books guarantees you're in for a treat.
Thanks, lads.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Southeast Radio's Morning Mix, brought to you